Hello. Okay, I need to put my glasses on because I cannot see. Uh, Hello. So, I have not done a live stream in a while, but I miss talking to you guys. And so today we're just going to be answering questions about SP. And I think I need to follow up on my last video that I posted regarding third parties, because I have been seeing so much about third parties, and I can really see that people are struggling with manifesting their specific person. I've heard all kinds of scenarios, third parties just popping out of the blue, and I know that that can be very distressing and just very stressful. So yeah, today we're gonna cover a little bit about third parties. Welcome. Hi. So yes, feel free to drop your questions about manifesting your specific people. So my best recommendation for there being a third party is to find a way to completely take your focus off of that third party. And what I see a lot of people do is they immediately go into saying SP chooses me. Hi everyone, drop your questions about manifesting your specific person. I'd be happy to answer them today. So, while it's not wrong, you do want to think, feel, and believe that you are chosen by this person. If there is a third party happening right now, that's going to be very difficult for you because your primary focus, your thoughts are on that person, and this can sound like having a lot of anxious thoughts, or thoughts that produce feelings of anxiety, of sadness, of fear, of doubt. Okay, I cannot see, so I have to put on my glasses. Hello, welcome. So, while I'm not saying not to do any specific person affirmations, but let's say you just found out that there is a third party. You're going to want to just put your focus back on you, because if you're saying those affirmations but not feeling the truth behind it, not really feeling that that statement is true, that SP is choosing you, if you're just affirming from a state of anxiety, of feeling freaking sad, first of all, don't start gaslighting yourself. Honor your emotions, honor that feeling, and sit with yourself and say, hey, it's okay. Right now, I am feeling this sadness, this fear of this person being with that third party, but I can still hold beliefs within my self-concept that I deserve to be chosen, I deserve to receive this love, and that it is possible for me to receive this love regardless of whether it's a third party, whether that person says I don't want you, whatever it is. I just want you to think that it's just a circumstance, okay? And right now it feels very real, it feels very scary, and that's okay. So you don't need to believe that your specific person is here all of a sudden, right? Because I know a lot of you guys hear like, oh, just go live in the end, live in the end. You're like, my person is with a third party. How on earth am I supposed to be living in the end when this is my reality? So again, I'm gonna say it, self-concept. So, okay, someone asked, what does it mean when I dream about my ex-husband almost every day? I would think, well, the dream only has meaning if you assign meaning to it. So You can assign the meaning that it's because he's thinking of you, or it could just be your mind playing out past memories. That's very common. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything unless you want it to, unless you want to manifest, I'm dreaming about my ex-husband because he's dreaming about me. That's something that you can do to give it a favorable, positive meaning. Okay. So, okay. Back to what I was saying. So what do you do when your reality right now is that you're not chosen? Basically, you're not this person who has the relationship that you want. So, the reason why I say to focus primarily on your self-concept first is because you want to predominantly feel safe and secure. For those of you who know psychology, I'm sure you'll know a secure attachment style because, let's say that your specific person does end up with you, but you have not changed your self-concept at a core level of being a person who is always chosen, who always receives the love that they want, then you could have that insecurity, that fear, even when you're in the relationship. This person could reassure you, but in the moments when they're busy and they have to do something, this often manifests as having a ton of anxiety, a ton of spiraling thoughts. What are they doing? When are they going to talk to me? And this comes from beliefs of normally formed in childhood with your self-concept of the person you love leaving you, the person you love choosing someone else. But that's okay. That doesn't have to be who you are. You can change that. And you can change that just by sheer repetition. So you can say, okay, I know that what's happening right in front of me is not what I want at all, but I'm going to choose to believe that I am chosen, that I am loved, that everything is working out in my favor, even though I don't have any evidence. Because if you're in the state of not believing that until you see things change in the 3D, then you're setting yourself up to be dependent on the outside to determine how you feel on the inside. So you're basically giving your power away. Someone asked me if I'm doing dream interpretations. I am not. I am answering law of assumption questions about manifesting your specific person. Okay. So, to build a belief, you can do that through sheer repetition of your affirmations, of visualizations, of scripting. I always recommend sleep tapes where you listen to a recording at night while you sleep. So that way you can really impress your subconscious mind with these new beliefs, the version of you who is in the relationship that you want. And I would also recommend to focus more than half the time on your self-concept. So I know you've heard of the 80-20 rule. You don't have to follow that super strictly, just as long as the majority of the time your focus is on you. And once you get into a more stable state where you start to feel confident, you start to feel less anxious, you feel safer about the situation, that's when you can start throwing in, all the specific person beliefs, right? Because you're not changing the person. You're not telling them, like, you need to choose me or it's over, it's done. If you have beliefs that you're never chosen by who you want, there's nothing you can say or do out there. It has to start within you and your beliefs, so that way it can manifest out there. And again, you're not changing your specific person, you're not convincing them, you're not persuading them to choose you, because they don't have a choice. They're only reflecting what you dominantly think to be true about the situation. What are your dominant thoughts about it? So if you can, right, if it's not too triggering, feel free to write, just take a few moments to write out what is the story between you and this person, and you will be able to identify, okay, what beliefs do I need to change about me? What do I need to change about my beliefs surrounding love in general? And then on top of that, the icing on the cake. Okay, so think of it. The cake is your self-concept. The filling is your concept around relationships, and SP is like the icing on the cake. Okay, so the majority of that is you. So, okay, someone asked, having a hard time trusting myself and that SP will come back. Do you have any advice? So, like I just said, feel free, write out the story one time on one piece of paper, and then on the second piece of paper, write the story as if it's happening the way that you want. And then when you read that new version of the story, think, okay, this version of me who dominantly thinks this way of being in the relationship with the person, what kind of beliefs does that person have? And that sounds like I am chosen. That sounds like I always have the best relationships. That sounds like I am open to receiving the love that I want. It also depends on the specific circumstances. For example, if your specific person is with a third party, if there was an argument, right, that caused a separation, you could incorporate into your self-concept, I am always forgiven. And also think about what treatment do you want in your relationship, because what I see a lot of people do is they manifest contact from their SP, right? But then the SP ends up ghosting them. The SP ends up coming in and they don't want to commit, or something that's undesirable, and then they spiral. They think like, oh my gosh, it's not working. But here's the thing, you're not changing your beliefs to change them. You're changing your beliefs to change you, so that, for example, they do come back, you get that contact, and something undesirable comes up, you're not even gonna trip. Or if you do, you're able to stabilize into your state of being and say, you know what, I'm always chosen by who I want. I am irresistible. I am unforgettable. I am always loved by who I want. I am an amazing partner. I am valuable. I recognize my value. Others recognize my value. Those types of beliefs, the person who is in a relationship. And that's when it manifests out there. But then part of that, there could always be an exception. You could have a high self-concept, but then when it comes to that person, you could say, oh, except for that person, that's what ends up happening to some people. So then that's when you change the story of them. You have to change what you dominantly, it's so hard for me to say that word, dominantly think, feel to be true about that person, how they treat you, how they show up for you. What is your interaction like? Do they respect you? Do they support you? Do they listen? Those types of things. So yeah, so just keep in mind, you know, also see them in a high regard, and under that have your self-concept belief. So okay, for example, yeah, self-concept is pretty good. Yes, okay, that's good. So now, what is your concept of that person? What is the story that you hold about them? So that's good that you're focusing on your self-concept first. That should be your number one priority. So now it should be easier to start thinking and feeling that that person wants to treat you the way that you deserve to be treated, because this is who you are now, and because they are you pushed out, they have to reflect your self-concept. So if you have a high self-concept right now, okay, I saw another comment, but just let me finish. So your self-concept's high. Now you can start working on your concept of them. And I want you to go into detail, because you're not just manifesting being chosen, because I'm pretty sure you know you're freaking chosen by who you want if you have that high self-concept. But now you can focus on manifesting the quality of that relationship. How do you spend your time together? How does this person express their love, appreciation for you? You know, what would you like to receive out of the relationship? Be very clear on that and start incorporating that into your affirmations. Now you can manifest that specifically. And you don't need to, you know, pretend or trick yourself into thinking that it's happening. But you do want to start thinking and feeling like that can be true for you. And then that's usually when you start to receive either bits and pieces of the manifestation, right? That person starting to contact you more, starting to pursue you more, and allowing that to unfold. Okay, 1 second. Are we back? Okay, I think we're back. So, okay, someone said, I saw a video on YouTube where the creators said to make a story that SP and third party moved on. So, are you saying that the third party moved on from SP? I think that's what you meant. You can do that. As long as you do whatever helps you enter into a more stable state. So if you want to do that, if you want to, you know, visualize the third party moving on, if you want to write a story that they found someone and they're head over heels in love with them, you can do that. I'm just trying to teach what I've seen is easier. So just because the only thing with that is that you can still be focused on the third party, but if you are able to let that go, if you're able to assume that that is true and then just focus on you and SP, then go ahead, be my guest and do that if that works for you. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, for me, I think it's extra work to, like, write something out or to affirm for that relationship, because if you're always chosen by who you want, right? If you're this person who's unforgettable, irresistible, right? You always receive the love that you deserve. If you're wanted, if you're always wanted, and you can start to think and assume that of course your person wants you, of course they desire you, of course you're the best thing that's ever happened to them. You don't need to do anything about the story between them and the third party. Like, why does that even matter? That doesn't even need any of your focus or energy if you have that self-concept of you that is very strong and a favorable story of the SP. So I'm not saying that you can't. You can, but I would just think, like, save yourself the effort, honestly. So yeah, I hope that answers your question there. So I think we got a lot of good tips today. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the live there, and I'll be back soon. Bye bye.